For decades, Sudan has been ravaged by conflict and strife. In 2011, South Sudan gained independence from Sudan, but soon became embroiled in its own civil war in 2013. Amidst this turmoil and violence, a courageous woman named Alec made the life-altering decision to flee, embarking on a journey into the unknown with her 2 children and an unborn child. Leaving South Sudan with nothing but hope, Alec's path led her to Fort Worth, Texas, a place entirely unfamiliar to her. Her situation was further complicated by the absence of her husband, Diane, and uncertainty about their reunion. Years before her ordeal, the marriage papers for Alec and Diane had been lost, resulting in her being classified as a single mother and him as a single man by the resettlement program. This classification put Alec ahead in the resettlement line, while Diane's priority status was lower. Arriving in Fort Worth, Alec faced an uncertain future, with returning to war-torn Sudan not an option. However, 2 compassionate women, Molly and Mary, from the refugee resettlement organization Catholic Charities, offered invaluable support during her time of need. They worked tirelessly to ease Alec's transition into American culture, organizing a baby shower for her and even being present when she gave birth to her 3rd child. Collaborating with the local church, they helped provide Christmas gifts for Alec's children and guided them as they'd adapted to their new life. As Alec settled into her new surroundings, she formed connections with other refugees from various parts of the world. Together, they established a home group through their local church, planning monthly gatherings for communal meals and fellowship. Molly and Mary's experience with Alec was both inspirational and deeply moving. They regularly visited Alec and her children, extending their kindness to other refugees. Their understanding of the importance of companionship and reassurance led to cookouts becoming a cherished tradition at the apartment complex. Molly and Mary involved their church community in their efforts, expanding their acts of kindness through Christmas present drives, summer camps, and Thanksgiving food donations. Meanwhile, Alec's husband, Diane, embarked on his own journey to reunite with his family. Stranded in a refugee camp in Egypt, he received disheartening news from his caseworker. His status as a single man had hindered his chances of resettlement, and he was informed that reuniting with his family was increasingly unlikely. Over the next 4 years, Diane remained separated from his loved ones, including a son he had never met. His other 2 children had grown up during this period, becoming unrecognizable to him. The question loomed, would he ever have the chance to see his family again? Molly and Mary, aware of Alec and Diane's plight, spared no effort in their quest to reunite the couple. They held meetings with social workers, reached out to local immigration officials, and even engaged with politicians. Regrettably, they consistently received the same disheartening response. The chances of Diane reuniting with his family were slim to none. However, as fate would have it, miracles do occur. On an ordinary evening, Molly and Mary surprised Alec by picking up her and her children. They initially led them to believe they were going to church, but their true destination was the airport. Alec would finally be reunited with her husband after a grueling 4-year separation. Alec was overwhelmed with emotion when she realized their destination. Upon arriving at the airport, her children crafted homemade signs for their father and eagerly awaited his arrival at the terminal. After what felt like an eternity, Diane's plane touched down, and the passengers began to disembark. Alec grew increasingly anxious. Had he missed his connecting flight in Houston? Fortunately, their fears were unfounded and Diane emerged, tapping on the glass that separated them. The long-awaited reunion was finally unfolding. Bypassing the security officer, both of Diane's sons rushed to embrace their father, including the 3-year-old whom he had never met. After embracing his children, Diane walked toward his wife. The moment was a whirlwind of emotions for him. At times, he didn't know how to react. After reconnecting with his wife, he had the opportunity to meet Molly, Mary, and the other volunteers who had made this reunion possible. It was a moment filled with love, tears, and heartfelt hugs. Despite the arduous journey, he was finally back where he belonged. Overwhelmed by emotion, Diane dropped to his knees and offered prayers of gratitude to God for reuniting him with his family. Tears streamed down his face as he raised his hands in the air, overwhelmed by the simultaneous relief and joy he felt. At the airport, there was a minor hiccup. Only one of Diane's bags arrived from Houston. The family patiently waited another hour for the second bag to arrive, but this hour paled in comparison to the 4 long years they had endured in anticipation of being together again. In addition to those close to Alec, several people at the airport documented the heartwarming reunion. Robert Fuqua, one of the witnesses, reflected on the moment, saying, "A piece of the video that remains in my mind's eye, yet in the interest of time lies on the cutting room floor, is a moment when this Algerian mom in the hijab goes over to Diane's wife and embraces her, greeting each of her children with encouraging words offered in a mutual tongue they share, but which I didn't recognize. What I did recognize, however, was a shared joy emerging from a shared pain and anguish." The drive back to the apartment complex was serene. Alec and Diane spoke little as Diane absorbed his new reality and expressed gratitude to God for reuniting him with his family. Upon arriving at their new home, Diane had only one thing to say: "It is good."